Okay. Hello, welcome, friends. Welcome to movement class today. Opportunity for us to connect to body, get things balanced, in the direction of balance. And it's transition time seasonally. So, any amount of joint practices we do, therapeutic practices, is going to help our body adapt to the changing needs, right? The weather's up, it's down, it's dry, it's wet, it's this. It's like this poor body has to be able to adapt to all the conditions. So if we're not practicing in order for that to happen, then yeah, it struggles. It totally struggles. So lots of seasonal transition, lots of transitional things. People transition back to school. This is a lot, right? So favorite place. Lay down. Let's take a breath on the back. Oh, let yourself come all the way down to the floor. And what does that feel like? What does it feel like to just let yourself melt into the floor? Into the breath. Where is the most comfortable place for your arms to go here? Are they out to the side? Are they resting on the belly? Are your legs extended? Are your knees bent? As much as you can. Relax the back of the throat. Let the breath flow smoothly. Many of us have been coached in yoga spaces to have this forceful ujjayi breath in the back of the throat. And it's really important to understand the right applications of ujjayi. Sometimes that ujjayi or cheering breath really connects us with Manipura chakra, navel chakra. And we feel powerful, we feel heat, we feel energy and energized. Yes, it's a heating breath. It's an energizing breath. It really should have specific applications in our practice. Like many things in Hatha yoga, it just becomes this blanket, like, oh, ujjayi all the time. Oh, me doing ujjayi breath is me relaxing. But the actuality is that that breath is constrictive. It will inspire contractive states in the chest region. So isn't that funny? When we're often, taking deep breaths or relaxing breaths, we want the chest to feel open. We want things to be flowing in the heart region and flowing in the throat region. And actually that contractive breath in the back of the throat causes contraction around the lung and large intestine channels. Kind of help this. If you observe yourself over a period of time, you might notice that that breath actually comes up when you are stressed. You'll contract the throat and try breathing. So how interesting. So that's part of why I'm encouraging you to relax the back of the throat, allow the breath to flow naturally. Bring the breath down into the belly region, down, down, down to the base of the pelvic bowl. Breathing into the expansive, cushy spaces. Everything's nice and snug there in the pelvic bowl. All the neighbors. Noticing any interconnectedness here, breathing into the base of the pelvic bowl, what's happening at the top of the neck, base of the skull, anything showing itself. It'd be nice to have some gentle rolling of the chin, side to side, checking things out through some of the rotators. Meaning the muscles that govern this rotation of the neck. And they give a big old stretch of the arms overhead. See them? Yeah. Bringing the arms out to the sides. The feet are nice and wide, and we're just going to enjoy some zigzag twists. Turning. Head to the center. Exhale, knees to the side. Head in the opposite direction. Just letting a nice easy going movement. Oh. Feel free to hang out on a side. Take a nice deep breath. Inhaling center. So let's see if you're doing this practice today-ish. This is the 12th of September, and it's the couple of days leading up to the new moon. This is a pretty introspective space, and it will get more introspective. Don't be surprised if even tomorrow you're more tired. And I ask this of myself as I'm reprogramming rest, this endeavor, this adventure I've been on. I still have to give myself permission to rest. I'm not that decolonized just yet. That it happens. It's still a struggle. Like I literally have to be like, oh, this is an opportunity where you can rest. Oh, we're feeling introverted. We're feeling tired, turned inwards. I grant you permission to rest. Oh, but we weren't productive. Oh, but we didn't do enough things. And I grant myself permission to rest. I am tired. Oh, but maybe this tired is due to anxiety, or maybe this tired, yeah, which probably means I need to rest, right? So just highlighting that the way we've been conditioned to override when our body's telling us that it needs to rest. Coming back to the center. And just exploring how this feels to bring the knees in towards the chest and give the legs a hug. And from holding the knees, gentle circles. Let the knees come away. Let the knees move in towards the chest. Gentle massage here. Low back, sacrum, tailbone, the whole of the low back. Posterior of the pelvis. Let's go opposite direction. And then rolling all the way into the side to side. Gonna use the elbows to push yourself around. Making a little space, getting fluid-filled spaces moving. Nice. We're gonna come back to the center. Now the legs are wide, knees are wide. Figure eights in opposite. So opposite circle. In towards the chest, let that natural rocking movement evolve. Opposite direction. Now a little combination, like we're in something like a happy baby. Just the knees are really wide. You can even hold behind the backs of the knees. And we're enjoying this rocking from side to side. Keep breathing. Shake the legs and the arms towards the sky. And lower the knees down towards the foot. Stretch through the body. Right? And then this little rocking side to side. And you make space, like a little self-tractioning right at the crease of the hips, right? So as if you could just let the knee move a little diagonals, a little forward, and self-tractioning front part of the hip. It's always nice, like in Thai massage, somebody does this for you. But we have to figure out ways, this little self-tractioning, right? So my knee is moving that way. I'm essentially, so let's look another way you can do this manually. Just use the heel of your hand, pushing forward and making a little space at the crease of the hip. You know, so tractions of the leg, like legs are extended, somebody's pulling the leg, or like Thai massage style, somebody's there pulling from the knee, like leveraging from the knee. Thai massage is so nice for all the traction. Just giving yourself a little bit of space. And then that gentle rocking so that we're getting gel moving, fluid moving. Nice. Another traction-y type movement is when we bring right leg across figure four stretch. Then let's just hang out here for a second in this figure four stretch. And then offer up a little gentle rocking. So like when I would be practicing karate a lot, meaning too much, I would have to start my warm-up practice with basically this series of like juicing through the hips, tractioning a few things, making space. So these are some of my favorites for this. So just feel into posterior, because right now all these external rotators are a little bit stretched because they're engaged. They are rotating. But what they are is actually contracted, which means we can open up through adductors, inner leg into the groin. Right, so just feel what's opening here. Adductor groin. These glutes are actually contracted because we're rotating externally. It's a little bit bigger of a movement Delicious little traction in the front part of the hip. Can you feel the stretch through the quad, the lengthening, opening through here? And then use your arms to come back to the center. Notice we're a lot more rotated outwards here. And then let's try the other side. So first, we allowed for the rotation. Now this side has some tightness to it, let me tell you. So I want to come into that gentle rocking. The idea of this therapeutic movement is we're not pushing the body into like a dry stretch. This is one of my critiques of how yoga classes cultivate movement. Everything's so dry. There's not enough juicing of the connective tissue, the joint space, the whole fascial network. And then we go in for these big stretches, and it's like everything's bone dry. And so it pulls and tears and causes your fascial system to want to tighten to protect your joint and organ spaces. So this gentle coaxing, this soft and gentle movement. I'm wiggling, moving, pulsing until I feel that fascial anatomy that was holding is ready to let go. Then I'll go for the stretch, because then I'm actually going to stretch something. Most of what people do in their yoga practice is just pulling. It's literally just yanking anatomy all over the place. And we get that like fun jelly feeling. We get those endorphins. And so we think we're doing something good and healthy for ourselves, but what we're actually doing is damaging. Whereas we could be doing the same things, but doing repair. That's my vibe. I need to access restoration. I need to access repair. So I think this leg is about ready for that knee to come all the way down to the floor and have a little traction. Sometimes I play around with this arm overhead, out to the side, not in the mix at all. Breathing into that space. Making space in the hip. Center. And both feet on the floor. We had that initial exploratory movement we did. The arms are overhead. You could do it either way. I kind of liked the arms overhead. Give a little bit more stretch. Now I'm just doing that alternating tiny rocking from side to side, and then just see is anything more spacious there in the hip, particularly front part of the hip, but depending on what's tight, we might be holding in different places. Let's do a full-on zigzag twist. Turn the head in the opposite direction. So internal and external rotation here. Nice. Pavanuttanasana. We're going to bring right knee in towards the chest, flex both feet. Let's get a nice stretch here for low back and front part, colon, large intestine. Breathing. Next inhale, stretching outwards and down. Left leg inhale. And draw that knee in towards the chest. Let that opposite leg lengthen. I do flex both feet here. Check in with my neck. Next inhale, stretch it back outwards and down. Make a few windshield wipers while we're here. And then let's take a roll onto the belly. A couple of those gentle back bends from here. Starting with baby cobra. Legs together, feet together for the most part. It's what's comfortable. Hands by the sides of the chest. And here we're just gently bringing belly into the floor. Lifting and then roll the shoulders. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Feel how that is possible. Rolling the shoulder. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. Where's the neck in the mix? Does it need to be a little bit long? Take a breath. And when we're coming down towards the floor here, forehead to the floor, and melt. Melt in to the floor, spine lengthening. Do this a few times. Taking our time, inhaling. Belly moves into the floor. Roll of the shoulders. Squeeze of the shoulder blades. Big breath in. And get down. Breath at the bottom. In. Rolling the shoulders. Squeezing together. Breathing, lifting with the back body, exhaling down. Take a rest breath. Inhaling up. Rolling the shoulders, squeezing them together. Take a couple breaths holding. Breathing into the back body. How can you lift from the back body? And big breath in. Exhale, arms extend forward, forehead towards the floor, reversed corpse pose. Your nose finds a comfortable smush, and we hang out here a couple breaths. Melting. Spine lengthening. Half locust. Inhaling, opposite arm and leg. Right arm, left leg, lift up. And exhale down. Left arm, right leg, lift up. Exhaling down. Let's do opposites here. 4 times to each side. Take your time. Inhale and exhale. taking my time. I'm listening. I'm listening to the tight place. I'm listening to the joint spaces, especially my hips. That's just what's coming up today in this practice. Listening to these fascial chains, interconnected spirals. Oh, yeah, this thing here. So think when you're lifting here in half locust, that this is why I flex the foot, that I could flex the foot, but then before I even lift my leg off the floor, what if someone was pulling my heel in the opposite direction, tractioning this hip, and then I lift, and then coming down. Let's do a few more with that little nuance. So flex the foot before you even lift it. Somebody's pulling the heel, tractioning, stretching the whole back of the leg. Then I lift from there and down. Just see what that feels like. Give yourself that little added traction. I do it so much, it just became the regular thing. That last one here, and then let's see what's happening, but also giving this space in between for the body to move a few bones and allow some anatomy to shift. So there's reversed corpse, breathing melting. And how could we skip it? Let's do a little Sphinx pose here. Elbows under the shoulders, pushing into the floor, lifting up. Breathe into the tight places, breathe into the ribs. All the spaces in between. Couple more breaths. Nice breath in, all the way down. Definitely want a little processing breath here. So for me today, what's just totally unrelenting is the glute minimus. I can just like trace this anatomy on the right side here. This is tight, and then this is pulling above and below on the whole right side, right? So this investigation, like what's holding, what's pulling. So yeah, I'm gonna get into some more things that are gonna activate through that external rotator. Okay, let's see. Inhale it up and back, child's pose. Take your time. We just did a series of back bends. Sometimes we might need a little edging in that direction before we can get into a more comfortable expression of the pose. Hanging out in this gentle inversion, lightly upside down. Keep breathing into the vertebra. Can you make space between the vertebra? A little tiny walk of the hands back while we enjoy a few shoulder rolls here in the inversion. I'm mainly just rolling back. And I walk my hands back a little bit more. Rolling through. I start to play around in the position I'm in, opening up through the side body, under the shoulder blades, between the ribs. Arms are extended forward, child's pose. Walk fingertips on the right hand forward. Stretching through the right side. Walk the fingers forward on the left and take a breath of 2. And any other little play as we walk the hands back. Nice, we're making our way towards hands and knees. All these fun little exploratory movements. Let's come on the hands and knees. We're back with the spine here. Inhale. Lengthening. Exhale. Tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. You're arching and tucking only as much as this feels good and stable. Have you noticed through the cycles, the monthly cycle, sometimes the low back can get a little destabilized. The SI joint can be a little hypermobile. And you have to notice where in your cycle that happens. So we don't need to overextend. So let's, for example, say overextending in the arch. If we don't want to do that, if we want to avoid that, then from the tailbone to the crown of the head, we lengthen and then we look up a little. Exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. So usually the culprit in this pose is overarching. Going into a big, huge, giant arch isn't necessarily going to make the low back feel better. But we did just do some really amazing strengthening back bends from the belly. So that's so helpful for stabilizing. Again, child's pose. Would you like your child's pose a little wider? Stacking forearms. We're not in a rush. Where are we rushing to? Just in the moment, this delicious breath melting. Little something for the adductors. Starting from here, we can just straighten the legs so we're nice and wide with the knees. Or down here on the elbows, gentle rocking backwards and forwards. Again, you might need extra padding under the knees. Now we might turn the feet outwards, frog pose. Maybe a little less range of motion when we turn the feet outwards, frog pose. Just meet yourself where you are, not like aiming for lots of pain. It's really just moving through a range, feeling the limit. Using breath, pulsation, the movement of fluid in the joint space to nourish. Maybe holding. I like to keep the navel slightly pulled inwards here for stabilization, while the knees go wider or the feet turn outwards more, or just the whole thing gets a little bit more comfortable. It's also possible that this just never gets comfortable. Use your elbows, draw the knees together, have a little stretch back. If it feels good and stable on the low back, this high upward facing dog with a little range of motion rocking from side to side. Stretch back, child's pose. Left foot forward, nice big lunge with circles, rotating to the outside. Here. Right, so we're working with those external rotators, right? They all attach at this greater trochanter here. And so just this gentle, flowy movement to like work around that bony landmark. So it's a little bone that juts out, part of the femur there. And all those external rotators, so across the hips, they attach there. There we go, like work that attachment site. Another favorite thing to do for that, get on that foam roller. Holding here in the center. And a little like Hanuman asana kind of feel, forward and backwards. I'm going to tuck the back toes. This front foot is flat. Sometimes I'm just looking for like a little symmetry when I'm in something of a Hanumanasana. Let's try this opposite leg. Right one comes. Rotating circles to the outside. Hey, this is the cranky hip today. Let's try some of this forward, backwards thing. It's just like this meeting place of the greater trochanter with those external rotators and the hamstring on the backs of the leg. They're not connected at the same place, but they're next door neighbors. And we're often playing with this when we conceptualize this in the cosmology of the East Asian system. Gallbladder fascial network and bladder fascial network. Be holding in that little mini Hanumanasana. Nice Vajrasana, diamond pose, or Seza. Pause here. So this is the only yoga pose that is indicated for right after you eat. This is the one pose. Why? Kind of feel into this. There's a lot of effortlessness, just sit up, meaning you're not having to use the back muscles or abdominal muscles really to sit up. All the work is down here, feet, ankles, knees, quads. And so what happens is the whole digestive system is lengthened. And just a few minutes in Vajrasana after a meal can increase digestion because there's spaciousness, right? How often we're eating, then what? Grab your phone, grab the tablet, we're like hunched over even more. That's all pressing on the organ. Also, like here, I can do a little bit of rubbing activation through the ribs, gallbladder, fascia. Make this a little bit wider, almost like we're headed towards hero's pose. And we take a little stretch back, earth face stretch here, or Supta Vajrasana. Me, I'm not really trying to like get my head all back in the game or my neck. Just keep it in the center. Really exploring this deep stretch through the quads. Again, this opening through my hip flexors, crease of the hip. I'm still feeling that thing that's cranky in the hip. My glute. Saying hello. Not working here, but something's happening. Quads are stretched, hamstrings are contracted. That's just resonating right there, next door neighbor. Feeling that nice heat, tingling, opening through the quads here. All the way up to the sides of the chest. We take a counter pose in the form of child pose. Slowly coming up. Let's come into seated position. Legs extended. I'm sitting on the edge of a blanket that's giving me a little bit of cushioning and lift, a little space through my hips. I'm reaching under and I'm pulling some of this anatomy back. You know what? Like unearthing the glutes, flexing both feet. I'm right here ready for Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. I'm going to do this version where I really generously bend the knees. My feet are flexed. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. No, I'm good right about here. I've got a nice tilt of the hips forward. I can feel opening through my tailbone. These feet are flat, so kind of working through the toes. Hamstrings are engaged. I can feel the stretch through my calves. All the way back body, here we are, and bladder channel, bladder kidney channel. Slowly knees relaxing towards the floor. I'm really not trying to like get anywhere in particular, because the second that I'm gonna reach for my feet, all this like fascial tension that I have in my shoulders and upper back is just gonna ignite. This is where I'm getting everything I want out of this stretch, but not triggering the things that get unhappy in this stretch. This is my exploration for you today. It's just like, where's the limit? Where does rest end and strain begin? Honestly, I want to live my whole life where rest lives and strain is just a little bit over there. Now, and every once in a while, I might need to dip into strain, but let that be the temporary thing, as opposed to how we all are living life, which is like perpetual strain with a sprinkle of rest. Like, what is it to just get so radical? Centering rest. And here we are in the deep winter. before the new moon. What a wonderful thing to explore. Good inhale all the way up. A little spiral with the wrist down. We haven't really done anything for the wrist. Let's interlace the fingers and move it around and do a little loopy. Nice. Janusirsasana, head to knee pose. Bring the right foot in, press on the inside. Same thing. Let's just explore. Where does rest live? And strain is over there. Inhaling, stretching up. Exhaling, reaching. You could still bend this knee. And I'm here. I want to feel evenness in both shoulders. I'm feeling, ironically, a little bit more fascial tension on this right side. Usually it's the left side for me. But I think this glute is shouting today, taking over. It's actually from strain, physical output. But that glute's getting everything it needs right here. Breathing. Next, inhale back up. All right, find that Paschimottanasana again. Find that alignment with both legs. And then left leg comes back, presses on the inside of the thigh. Relax, knee soft, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, reach forward, just right. Feel in that therapeutic zone. Not pulling, yanking. There's just no need. And let's make sure we stretch evenly on both sides. I would describe my experience on this side, the expression of the pose. There's more rest in this combination. So sounds like something there on the right side. It's working too hard. It's overworking. Or it's been overworked, over recruited from. And actually, that tension I'm feeling is fatigue. It's tiredness in the body. Next inhale. And down. Back to Paschimottanasana. Marichyasana. We're going to bring, it's not Marichyasana. I'm forgetting the name of these three poses. It's one of the saints. Not Matsendra. It must be Marichi. Okay, maybe. Right leg comes over the left. Wrapping with the right leg over, left arm, wrist, elbow, arm to the outside. Back end pushes the chest forward, front foot flex. Turning towards the space bar. Next, this is Marichi. This backhand wasn't comfortably reaching the floor. You could also use a block there. Let's come back to center and switch sides. This is Marichi Asana 1. Breathe. Nice breath. Exhale. So Marichi Asana 2. Again, just giving a little squeeze to the glutes, feeling the sits bones on the floor, feet flat. Right, this is the sthiti, the starting position. When yoga asana is taught formally, traditionally, everything starts from a sthiti, a starting position. The starting position and ending position, the sthiti, and the resting position that follows it. It's all part of the experience in the asana. But nobody teaches like this anymore, I've noticed. It's also exercisey. Marichi Asana 2 is when you just bring the front foot straight back. But it's squeezier, right? There's got to be room for bellies and boobies and things. And you take the twist from here. Again, wrist, elbow, or arm to the outside. Where are you breathing here, right? If it's squeezing in the front part of the body, if you have flash, then you might be breathing into the back body. But I've got my right leg in and I'm wrapping with my left arm. So opposite. Yep. Twist. Opposite. Yeah, Marichi Asana 2. Nice breath in. Exhale, center. Yeah, so that's the thing. It's squeezy because Marichi Asana 3 has us like coming forward and wrapping around. I find my sthiti, starting position. Left leg straight back. And then, but you still want that sits bone on the floor, right? And then wrapping, backhand pushing the chest forward. And you might gotta squeeze some bellies and boobies into spaces, right? So sometimes we, like, if belly's in the way, we swipe the flesh out of the way. Not out of the way, but in a more comfortable position. Backhand pushing the chest forward. There's a lot of compression happening here. Isn't it interesting? But what about all that tractioning we did? What about all that spaciousness we made? Uh-huh. It's a little combination thereof. Not just spaciousness, also a little squeeziness. Nice breath in. Exhale to center. Stretch both legs. Now, we went to the sthiti. See, like I just blasted through the sthiti. And hands come behind. Make some nice windshield wipers. This resting pose has the ear to shoulder or the head back if that feels good. Sometimes I just keep my head in the center. Nice. Let's find a seated meditative pose. Couple rounds of Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, the balancing breath. You see what's happening in the two nostrils. Nasagra Mudra, index finger, middle finger, fold down. Pinky meets the ring finger. Let's take a few rounds. And then what we're going to do is hold the nose shut in the center. And this is really slow. It should all feel very, very natural. So normal inhale, press the right nostril, exhale left. Inhale left. A little squeeze. Exhale right. Inhale right. Four rounds to go. Make sure the back of the throat is relaxed. Last round here. Couple normal breaths. Gently opening the eyes, holding the hands at the chest, connecting to this beautiful circuit within. Thank you all for a lovely practice today. Can't wait to do it again. Yay. Lots to observe and to consider. So enjoy, and I'll see you soon.